Okay. All right. Everyone, and welcome back to another comedy hour. Today's guest is a friend of mine. I've known him for quite a while. We live in the same city. Great comedian and very funny guy. Let's bring him on. This is Joe Bruno.
Yay,
Hey, hey, Joe, how are you,
hey,
bud?
Joe Bruno. Yay.
Hey, hey.
I'm well, man. How you doing?
You
That's
see,
the iron. That's the whole clothing rack behind us. It's nice.
that's right. First of all, I'm gonna pick a bone with you.
Oh,
Let's
geez.
start with that. I
Big
went to your
away.
website, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And it says coming soon. Is there like a sexual thing, or is the
Yeah.
website more common?
Hey, I like to announce when that's going to happen. I want everyone to know.
That's great.
Oh man,
So,
no, my website's been it's been a little quiet. The gentleman that was taking care of it for me, um, we did some changes to it, and it just I wasn't getting enough. I wasn't working enough to update it constantly. So I found that I get more from putting everything on Facebook. Like I put
yeah,
everything on Facebook. Here's my show, boom, and I'm done. Like I did the one November over at Carlson Comedy at the Carlson, and I sold out that show just
yeah.
using Facebook.
And we'll get to that. So
Okay,
now you've been around for a long time,
at
long,
30.
long time.
Well, I've been around for 58 years, but I've been doing comedy for 32 of them.
I actually thought you were younger.
Now I'm old, dude, but
Uh,
I'm pretty. I'm pretty as hell.
Very, very pretty. So you've been around for 30 years,
Yeah, yeah.
and you're not a full-time comedian, correct?
No, no. I actually,
Were you ever at one point, or
um, for quite some time, I was. There was a lot of times that I'd be gone 3, 4 weeks at a time. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And that was for quite a few years. I did that. We had our sons, and when they were babies, because they're twins, it was a lot for me to just take off and go. So I would, I cut back on my work, and it this whole coronavirus crap. I started getting more and more shows, and now everything got canceled. We had 3 or 4 shows get canceled. I worked for a couple of different bookers, Danny Liberto, and Comedy at the Carlson, of course.
yeah.
Um,
That's a great venue, by the way.
it's the nicest comedy club I've ever been in.
Yeah,
That's not me. I don't have to get that.
no.
So
So, yeah, Marky Polito does a fantastic job here in
he is,
Rochester.
yeah, he's awesome. He is very awesome.
Absolutely. No, so you've been doing this for a long time, and I was looking at some of the names that you worked with in the past.
Oh yeah.
And you worked with Gilbert Godfrey, Bill Maher, Kevin Pollak, Bobby Collins. But I got to tell you one thing:
But
the first comedian that I loved, okay,
okay.
you actually worked with, and this is Bobby Slayton.
Bobby Slayton was so much fun. I just did. It's been over a year now. I worked with him at Carlson,
Yeah,
and it was funny talking to him in the green room. He says, "How long you been doing this?" He says, "I said, 30 years." He says, "How about you?" He says 40, and I says, "Do you love it?" Or he asked me, "Do you love it?" I said, "I love it. I do." And I said, "How about you?" And he goes, "I hate myself. I hate these people. I hate my act. I hate everything." I think he was messing around, but
yeah.
he just a sweetheart of a guy. Super, super, super nice. A little quiet off stage, believe it or not. A little bit quiet.
I got to tell you, well, a lot of comedians are like that.
Yeah, yeah,
A lot of comedians are totally different animals once they set foot on stage. You know,
absolutely,
and
absolutely.
actually, yesterday I was and I know you were watching the show
Yeah,
uh, with Eric Tartaglione.
what a great
You worked, great comedian. You guys worked really well.
guy.
We did the show together in
Yeah,
Batavia Downs. It was a great night.
yeah.
Uh, and we're talking about Vic the Bitero. Same
Vic
thing.
DiMatteo. I
That
want to work
guy.
with him.
What's that?
I want to work with him.
He's fantastic, and he's always on fire.
Yeah, yeah.
He always comes up with one or two videos that just
Oh, I know. I follow him on Instagram.
yeah.
I get his Instagram stuff all the time.
Uh, Actually, tomorrow I will have on Tom Daddario, which is another great comedian that works with Vic all the time. But,
Well,
you know, like
you had me work with
Marino's.
you
Go
had
ahead.
me work with Tom in Buffalo at the theater 2 years ago. It was
The Riviera.
at the Riviera. I worked with
That
him.
was a crazy lineup. We had a big lineup for that night.
Yeah, you had Tom,
Debbie Pescatelli,
Tammy Pescatelli.
which if I don't know if people have seen her, she has a big video, uh, a big live at
Yeah.
Netflix. So you should check her out.
Oh, she's
And
awesome.
also, yeah, and we had Frank Santarelli, which was George in The Sopranos.
Yep,
Uh,
awesome.
Yourself, Tom Daddario, and I believe somebody else.
It was Mike.
Was it
Somebody.
Freddie Proya?
He was. Yeah. Freddie Proya, not Mike.
Yeah,
Freddie Proya
from Canada, from
from
Toronto.
Toronto. Yeah. And that was a great show. I had so much fun at that show.
It was a great, and I love that theater. And I can't wait to go back to
That was
Buffalo.
nice.
I got a bunch of shows lined up for this year down there, but who knows? What's gonna happen?
You don't know. It's
know.
hard. It's hard to do comedy wearing a face mask.
Well, let me ask you a question. Have you,
Yeah.
with the job that you currently do, did it stop you from working?
No, not at all.
So you actually
No, because I'm outside sales, and they're a great company. I tell them I work at night, so during the day, my days are my days, my nights are whatever I can do.
Well, I gotta tell you, I've known you for a long time, and you don't strike me as essential. I'm just
Long time. You've known me a long time.
saying. Yeah.
You were 5, I think.
Yeah. I came. We met. I was on vacation here
Yeah.
in America back then. This is before I moved here.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. Growing up, when did you know you wanted to be a comedian?
Okay, so I graduated high school afraid of my own shadow. I am very shy.
Yeah.
Okay. I like to goof around at home, just messing around. And I started bartending. I worked at a factory for a couple of years, and then I started bartending. And I was working at Jim Miller's Lounge downtown Rochester. Now it's closed. It's not a bar anymore that I know of. But I worked at Jim Miller's Lounge, and one night Jim Miller said to me, he says, "I want you to call Eric over at Yuck Yucks." And I was like, "What, does he need a bartender?" He said, "Oh, I want."
Before my time, because I never remember Yuck Yucks. I know there was here, but I
Yeah.
never seen it.
He says, "I want you to go." He says, "I want you to go on stage and do comedy." And I said, "Well, that's not going to happen. I'm sorry." I was scared. So I called Eric, and he says, "Come down on a Wednesday night, open mic, see what it's like. If you want to go back the next week and try it, you got to do 3 to 5 minutes. That's it." So I said, okay. So I went down there, and there was maybe 20 people in the audience, and I was like, hell, I screw around in front of more people than that when I'm behind the bar. Sure, put me on. So I went, I made sure I had 3 to 5 minutes of stuff that I wanted to do, and I signed up for the next week, and there was 130 people in the audience, 128 people in the audience. Okay. Now I'm a little nervous, but I got on stage and I had to do 3 to 5 minutes, and I did 12 minutes, and it was solid laughing all the way through.
But you probably pissed off somebody going after you.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't care. So it was 12 minutes and it was solid laughing. And I thought, this is it. That's me. I'm a stand-up comic. So every
What year
week,
was this?
that was 1987.
Oh, wow.
So 33 years now. So 1987, right? I said, okay. So every week after that, I was at the open mics. And for the next 8 weeks in a row, I died a wicked death. Hated my life, hated me. I didn't like me at all. It was horrible. But I just kept going. And then, it just kind of took off from there. I started working with a couple of bookers out of Cleveland. And this guy,
Now,
Keith Gisser, he
now
had,
you worked a lot also internationally. I want to say because you performed in Canada,
yep,
you performed in the Bahamas.
in
What
the
the hell kind
Bahamas.
of thing are watching the Bahamas? That's what I want to know.
What was it?
Where the hell were you performing in the Bahamas? In
Okay.
the beach?
It was on Paradise Island. The club was called Joker's Wild. And Eric Nussbaum called me up. It was August. He says, "Do you want to play the Bahamas for a week?" I said, "No, please leave me in Rochester." Of course I want to play the Bahamas. So we went down. They all I had to pay for was my flight. They paid for everything else and they paid me for the shows. I had to do 20 minutes each show, 5 nights. One show a night for 5 nights. And it was a little difficult because you're in a resort and not everybody speaks English,
Right.
because they're international. So I did, and I had a great time. I had 5 great shows. I had a really good time with them, and it was just a lot of fun. We had a great time down there. Eric was a riot. We got kicked off of a bus going to a casino
I'm
because
sure.
he was the bus driver. Somebody got off the bus. If I'm not, yeah, I'm sitting up front. Eric is in the back, and these 2 people get off the bus, and they were like kind of mouthy a little bit, and the doors closed, and I went, "And stay out," just like that's all he said, "And stay out." The bus driver stopped the bus. In the bus, it was like a VW bus,
Yeah.
He stops the bus and he goes, "If you're going to be stupid, I don't want you on my bus. I don't want no stupid people on this bus. If you're stupid, I don't want you on my bus." And he kept going. Finally, I said, "Drive, just go,
Yeah.
So he starts driving, and Eric's in the back of the bus, and he goes, "Ha ha, Joe got in trouble." He was messing with me. It was bad. But Eric Nussbaum, he was the one. When I started doing open mics with him, he would take all the comics from open mic that night, bring us all upstairs, all right, and he would sit at the end of the table, and we'd all sit around the table with him, and he would go over everything with each person. This is what you did that worked. This is what didn't work. This is what worked. This is what didn't work. Try this. And it was just so much fun.
So now, growing up, who was somebody? Were you inspired by other comedians growing up?
My favorite comic, I have a lot of favorites. Let me clarify that. I have a lot of favorite comics, but the one that I kind of tend to be a little like is Buddy Hackett. Uh, Buddy Hackett tells stories, and there's little punchlines throughout the story, and that's how I am.
Now, let me ask you a question. Who
Uh,
was so okay? You like Barry Eckert.
mhm.
Did he influence you in writing your material? What was when you write your material for stand up? Where did you get your inspiration from? Is it pest, somebody like Barry Eckert, or is like personal life? Where do you get all your material?
90% of it is personal life.
Okay,
It's just stupid crap that I think of or that I see,
yeah,
and I try to make it work, which sometimes it really does well, and sometimes it bombs wicked, but I try it. You know me, I talk about taking a poop, but that's
why?
something,
Why?
it's something that everybody does and nobody likes to talk about. That's why. And I have a good time doing it, you know? Um, but yeah, there's things that have happened to me in my life. I bartended for 30 something years.
So you
So
must have seen some crazy stories.
Oh, and that's the thing. You hear stories from people, and I can turn them around and turn them into where it did the same thing to me and stuff like that. Like I go to the doctor, and the doctor says something stupid to you. Like one of my things. I at one point I lost a bunch of weight, and I said to my doctor, I says I lost like 15 pounds. She said, "How long of a time period?" And I said, "Like 2 months." And she said, "Well, if you lose another 5 pounds, we'll do a blood test and check for cancer."
Yeah.
I said, "How about you do the blood test now? I won't crap 5 pounds worrying about what you just said." So it's just kind of stuff like that, stupid things that happen to me.
I gotta tell you, a really cool. One of my best friends owns a bar,
Okay.
and I spent a lot of time with him. And things that I saw,
Oh,
things
yeah.
that I saw, I could do a 2 3 hour stand up just from that.
Absolutely. The bar world is a different world, man.
And I used to make fun of my friends because only him. Who the
Huh?
hell would hire a bodyguard? Not a bodyguard, but a security guy,
Yeah,
a guy with one leg.
yeah. I love it. I
Okay,
love that. Did it work?
not at all.
Damn it.
Not at all.
I was pulling for him.
Once he got mad, the security once got mad, and he punched a tree right outside and broke his arm.
See, that's just stupid.
Okay,
The tree don't hit back.
right now it's one guy with one arm and one leg, and still worked because he needed a job.
He needed the
You
job.
can
All
imagine.
his job was to do was to look at licenses and IDs. That's it.
Oh, you have no idea.
Oh God.
I can tell you a lot of stories about that.
I've had I was
So,
one of the bars I worked at out in Greece. Uh, this guy started a kid went in the bathroom to go pee. This dude, big dude, walks in right behind him and wham, punched him right in the face
yeah,
while he was peeing. So they come flying out of the bathroom. I jumped on the big guy's head. My arms and legs were around his head. He was huge.
yeah.
And I'm like telling people, grab my glasses, take my glasses. I don't want to break. The guy grabbed me with two hands and just threw me on the pool table like 8 feet away, like I was nothing. Yeah, it was ridiculous. The stuff you see in bars, it's just a whole different world.
So, going back to 30 years of career, who's the favorite? Who's your favorite artist, comedian that you worked with? If you have to pick one, I know it's not fair to the others, but I'm just
No,
curious.
no, no. Let's see. Gilbert Gottfried was a riot. I enjoyed myself working with him a lot. I worked with him twice. Um, the first time I worked with him, he was probably one of my favorites. Him and Bobby Collins. Bobby Collins was just so much fun. Kevin Pollak was so much fun. You know, they were all great to talk to, great people to hang with after the show, even before the show.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
now, how do you? Now you open up for people, but you also do your hour
Yeah,
as a headliner. How do
yeah.
you prepare? What's the difference between preparing to be an opener versus being an headliner? Is there any difference in your head?
No,
How do you
no,
mentally
because
prepare?
it's the same. It's the same stress level for me. Like, okay, so anytime I do a show, I can't eat anything within 6 hours before that show because my
Oh,
stomach gets crazy. Now, when we worked at the Riviera,
yeah,
I was kind of losing my mind because they kept bringing food out at that restaurant.
Casantiga in Lewiston.
Casa Antigua. I got to write that down. Casa Antigua. Because I want to go there again without doing a show afterwards. And I want to just eat. Casa Antigua. Yeah, typically I don't eat. I prepare for the show, and 10 minutes before I'm going to go on, I start pacing back and forth and I'm jumping up and down. And it's whether I'm doing 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, hour and a half, it's the same prep for me. It's the same. I'm nervous. I can't wait. I can't wait. I'm excited. When I get the first laugh, that's when I tend to calm down, you know?
Now, do you you obviously worked in theaters and you worked in clubs.
Mhm.
If you had to pick one or the other, which one would you rather work at a small 200 seater or like a 2000 seater? I mean, how do you feel a difference between the crowd? Do you have a preference about it?
My preference is club, but I like the theater feel because it's so big, you know? And I'm kind of spastic a little bit. I'm fast. I talk fast, I move fast on stage. And sometimes I've had people say to me, you need to slow down because we're missing half of what you're saying, you know? So, and I think the theater calmed me down a little bit on that, you know. But the clubs, it's fun. I like the close, but I also like the big.
And And if you had to pick, I know you have a great job,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and but if the money was equal, right?
Okay.
Somebody comes up to you, listen, either you do your current job or you do comedy full time. What would
Comedy.
you choose? Comedy.
Comedy. Yeah. Well, I've also done right now. I've in the bio. I've got 38 or 40 TV commercials that I've done, and I've done one movie, and I like that too. I enjoy that.
What movie was this?
It's a movie called The Checkout. It was done in 2003. I believe it was 2003. It was filmed up the local shots were filmed at Hagedorn's Market up in Webster.
Absolutely.
Okay. Um, Burt Young, the guy that played Paulie in the Rocky movies,
Yeah.
he was in it.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. This kid, Nick, like has a bad time finding relationships. Okay. So he puts together a dating app, I guess you could call it. But on the back of your receipt, when you go shopping, you fill out the stuff on the back and you put it in the box. And then they go through and, hey, your match is going to be in the vegetable area Sunday afternoon. So I played one of the couples. I was the guy in one of the couples that he set up. My name was Kenny. And the girl that he hooked me up with was Julie Pettis from Pettis Pools.
Okay.
All right. My line was, Nick, it worked. She's pregnant. And I got to kiss her. That was my first on-screen kiss. I was on the set for
And last one, I'm assuming.
pretty much a last on-screen kiss. I was on the set for 15 hours to do those two lines.
That's how it works.
But you know what?
List,
it's on IMDb. It's I got SAG credits for it, you know. So
that's on my bucket list to appear in a movie.
There's a guy in Rochester, Mark Fogetti.
Okay.
Mark does a ton of stuff. He's done almost all the commercials that I've been in.
Oh, well, 40, it's a lot of commercials.
Yeah, he did the directing part, some of the writing part, and he did a movie with John Coca. It was they did this film called Minge's Alley, and it eventually got done, but it was a different name, and I had a part in that, but my character got cut, and we filmed underneath, the Aqueduct Bridge by
no, I know
Dinosaur. Okay,
yeah,
we did a scene down there. As a matter of fact, one of the guys in that movie was Vinny Pastore from.
I know Vinny. I met
Yeah.
Vinny before.
Right, so he was in. It was him, Tony Cucci, and Arthur Nascarella.
Okay.
Arthur Nascarella was in Sopranos later. Vinny was in Sopranos. He was Big Pussy.
Yeah.
And this was all way before Sopranos. It was Arthur's birthday. He was turning 50. I believe he was turning 50. I took those guys out drinking at the Holiday Inn by the airport.
Oh, wow.
Had a riot with them. We had so much fun.
Yeah, actually, believe it or not, I performed with Vinny Pastore.
I am.
I was Tony Sopranos with Vinny, and he was being Big Pussy at Del Lago.
No kidding.
Yeah, he's I was backstage.
Nice.
He was having a show. Him with Goomba Johnny and Mike DiGiorgio.
Sure.
Backstage. It was the first time meeting him. So we have a lot of friends in common. We start talking. He goes,
sure.
I said, okay, I'll see everybody later. I'm going to watch the show. He goes, no, you're not going anywhere. I said, why? He goes, no, you come with me. I need you to be Tony Sopranos for me. What? So he improvised the whole thing. He picked a girl to be Carmela, and he picked me, and I was on stage for about 20 minutes. It was fun.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And at Del Lago, it's a beautiful area too.
Yeah,
beautiful arena.
I'll tell you what, the theater is nice, 1,800 seats.
Yeah.
I don't know actually when it's going to reopen. We are part of our industry is part of phase 4.
Yeah.
And even when it returns, we don't even know how, with the
Yeah.
social distancing, what
Last
are
year,
you going to do about it?
it's
I want to
crazy.
say hello to Rosanna and to Yolanda. They're watching. We have a lot of people watching, commenting in other social networks right now.
Oh,
Uh,
Rosanna, you got Yolanda. I'm lking at the list over here. Who's on? That's nice.
so, so I
Hello,
was
lady.
saying, and I ask everybody the same question every time. I don't,
Go ahead.
everybody knows the horrible connotation that this virus has.
Yeah,
Tell me something positive that came out of it.
I have both my boys home for a little while extra.
Yeah.
They're both in college, and we've had them home now since March. So it was kind of nice because they were gone for half a year, and
Now, where do they go to school? What college?
Andrew goes to Ohio University down in Athens, Ohio,
Okay.
and Alexander goes to Coastal Carolina in Myrtle Beach.
Oh wow, so they're far away from home.
Yeah, they're one's 12 hours, one's 8 hours. So
What is it like to raise twins?
it's it's different, man. It is
That's
different.
what I want to know.
Let me tell you this. Um, they're the best of friends, worst of enemies.
Yeah,
But no matter what, they got each other's back. If
that's cool.
somebody's going to come up to one of them, the other one's jumping in. And they're both taller than me, which sucks. Okay, one's 6 foot, close to 6'1". The other one's 6'5". Where am I going? I'm 5'9".
Oh, so I mean, are they identical? So
No,
obviously
they're
they're
not
not.
identical. They're fraternal.
Oh, okay, okay,
Fraternal
okay.
twins. There's 9 minutes apart. When we left the hospital with them, you know how people tell you never wake up a sleeping baby? Well,
Right.
the nurse said to us, if one of them gets up to eat, wake the other one up. Otherwise, you're never going to sleep. So, you know, and it was, we were getting for the first 3 months, my wife and I slept 2 hours a night.
Wow.
So
Well,
she,
six
one
five.
night,
I mean, 6'1" is already tall, but 6'5" is a beast.
yeah, he's tall. And they both work out. So they're both kind of jacked.
Did they play sports?
They both played soccer. Andrew played baseball. Alexander ran track, you know. So,
Cool.
but they both liked soccer a lot. Uh,
Yeah, that's my sport.
yeah, oh, I know. I know.
I'm a huge.
And
I mean, I
zero.
do follow other sports as well. Uh,
Me or
since I
them?
got from America, but I gotta
I
tell
know.
you,
I listened
soccer.
yesterday.
What's that?
You talking to Eric yesterday. You
Yeah,
just can't understand baseball. The whole baseball thing just throws you off.
yeah, a little bit. I'm like, yeah, I got baseball bats, but I never played.
Yeah, I played a little bit when I was a kid. I played softball, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I mean, obviously everybody to each his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I gotta tell you, I can watch soccer 24/7 and not get bored.
I can
I
watch soccer on TV.
compare
That's no
the
problem.
level.
Hockey, I can't do on TV
Oh,
because the guy with the camera is never fast enough for the guy with the puck, and that I don't like that.
I'm a Sabres fan.
I'm a Sabres fan myself. I like games live. I'll go to any game
Yeah.
live. You
I
know,
actually, in my lifetime, I went to tons of Amerks game in
hmm
Rochester.
they're fun.
What's that?
They're fun.
They are. It's a
Yeah,
good time, and a lot of Sabres games.
yeah, yeah.
There was a couple of years back in the, I want to say, late '90s, mid
Okay.
'90s, with remember Dominic Ashik, the goalie.
Yeah, yeah.
During those times, I used to. Uh, I went to a lot of games down in Buffalo. I used to drive, watch a game, and come back
Sure.
home.
Oh yeah,
Great
absolutely.
atmosphere over there.
See now, what about live baseball?
I've been to many.
Yeah,
Like I said, when I first
you
moved
like
here,
it better in person than on TV?
oh, definitely better in person.
Yeah, yeah,
You know,
yeah.
but it is true. It's a pastime. Everybody there was more interested in getting hot dogs and chatting with each
Yeah,
other than actually
absolutely.
paying attention. I mean, listen, if you want to go there and just hang out with friends, sure, I'm in.
Absolutely. I'm in. There's beer around there somewhere. I'm a happy man.
That's it. But I like I see I get into it into sports. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm somebody that it's like when I'm watching it, I cannot watch sports if I don't have something in it. Meaning, I not money or anything like
Yeah, yeah.
that. I don't, like okay, for example, when I watch the Bills, I'm a huge Bills fan.
Me,
Okay,
Bills fan right here. Yep.
yeah, I'm a New York guy. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
like everything New
yeah.
York. Uh, so when I watch the Bills, okay, I pay attention the whole 60 minutes of the game.
Oh, sure.
When I watch another football game, I gotta convince myself of what reason I need to watch it. So, for example, I'll watch the AFC where the Bills are.
Yeah,
So I'll root for one of the teams that if they win or lose is going to help the Bills with their record.
there you go.
You see what I'm saying?
Yep,
So whenever there's two NFC teams, I really don't watch it.
there you go.
But
I used to
soccer, I can watch like little kids play. You know, over
soccer.
75 play. I don't care. I'll watch anything.
Have you ever played indoor?
Oh, big time.
I
Big
played
time.
indoor soccer for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
My best game, I had three goals in one game. That was the best game I ever had. I had a hat trick. I was good. Um, there was a guy here in Rochester, Raynaud, can't remember his last name, but he used to have a kick that was so powerful, you know,
Yeah.
like he had the ball. He was about 20, 30 feet in front of me, and he was winding up to kick.
Yeah.
And I hear somebody from the sideline go, "Get out of the way." Tony, I went to move. It hit me in the thigh. It took me right off my feet. He says it hit hard. He used to toe the ball with the ball of his foot. He would toe it.
Oh, I played the first time I played soccer. That actually I got a video. I was 2 years old.
There you go.
You know, and I played indoor probably for at least 35 years.
No kidding.
Oh
Indoor
yeah,
is fun. You get winded in indoor. You lose
oh
your
yeah.
breath quick because
It's kind
you're
of like
moving.
a hockey where you gotta go in and out. You know, you
Yeah.
do your 2 3 minutes.
Yep.
You know, I was never very fast, but I scored a lot of goals.
There you go.
Uh,
If you're scoring goals, they don't care how fast you are.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
That's it.
So,
That's it.
but going back to you,
Go ahead.
now, what do you see for yourself? Let's get rid of COVID. Everything's gonna go back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah.
What are you planning to do? Do you have something in store?
Well,
Uh,
we've got shows that are going to get rescheduled, so I want to do those.
yeah,
And a buddy of mine, Danny, who books, he was at one point 42 rooms he was booking, and now he's coming back up to that. So
yeah.
he uses me a lot. Mark's going to be using me more at the club. I want to work as much as I can with you.
You
So
always have-
I have the flexibility now. You know.
that's good because I mean, although you're pretty independent with your
Yeah.
other job,
Yeah.
so that's fantastic.
Oh, I
So
love it.
you can go out of town, you can do whatever you need. I just want to say hello to Julie. Julie's actually from Canada. Uh,
Hi, Julie.
she follows. Uh, she comes to a lot of my shows. Believe it or not, she's an asshole.
But we love her.
No. It's a she knows. People might not know what I mean. You see this
Yeah.
SR?
Oh, Asso.
Yeah. I manage the Uncle Louis show.
Oh, right. Okay.
Variety show. So she's a huge fan of theirs, and
Gotcha.
she's seen probably 7 8 shows with them, and they always her and her friend sister they come with this ESO shirt because they have the ESO army. So
That's
she ESO number one, this ESO number two, ESO number three.
well, Julie. That's awesome.
So so she's my favorite ESO. How's that?
That's great. Everybody's got their own Asso. It's nice.
Uh, no, but I'm trying to figure out how we're gonna do this once COVID ends. Are you for? I mean, are you for going back to 100% to normal? You think at this point because
You know,
or social distancing.
I
I'll
don't
tell you
know
what
how
I'm
much
thinking about.
normal we're going to get back to. That's the problem.
I wasn't even thinking about it until the
Yeah,
other day. 'Cause, I know Trump was talking about doing the presidential the convention down in North
right,
Carolina, and they wanted a full arena.
right,
You know, so and I don't want to get political at all because the
right.
minute you get political, you lose half of your friends.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
We don't want to do that. But do you think we can go back that soon to be 100% normal that way? Because he's
I'm
talking about August, end of August.
I'm thinking end of August. Now they're talking about this resurgence of the virus, and it's going to come back but be worse. Um,
They're talking about we're coming back possibly in the fall.
yeah, end of August. I'd like to see a big room full of people again.
Yeah.
You know, I would like to see that.
Would you feel comfortable sitting next to somebody you don't know?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
good.
I wash my hands. I don't touch my face. Life is good.
Yeah.
You know.
So, so I'm trying to feel everybody.
Yeah,
It's so different because
I'm.
everybody there's a spectrum of opinions out there.
Yeah, yeah, and if the person next to me is going to sneeze and cough all day, I'm not going to be comfortable. But in my head, I trust the fact that they're taking care of themselves too. You know,
Right.
and I take care of myself. Um, yeah, I don't feel uncomfortable about it at this point. I'm thinking I have a cousin who's a doctor. He's a PhD in chemistry. Um, and I asked him, I said, can you please make a vaccine for this? He goes, I'm not working on it. He says, but I know the guys that are. He goes, and they're very good. So, I think once they get the vaccine, sign me up, shoot me in the arm, let's go. I'm not going to mess around.
I'm
Danielle,
reading a funny message right now.
what's
I'm
that?
not sure if you know her.
Oh,
Daniela Pilato, wonderful girl, and actually the bar that I was talking about, it's her uncle. But she's a great singer.
Daniela
And
Pilato.
she said, "My nonno thinks wine. She uses wine for vaccine."
Ah, Tony, I have
Yeah.
25 gallons of wine going in the other room right now. I
Now, do
make
you
it
make your own wine?
absolutely.
See, I got to be honest with you. I never made it.
No kidding.
Okay,
I didn't either
so
until
I
my
made
father.
sauce, but I haven't made wine.
Yeah, I do. Right now, I got Chianti and Cabernet Sauvignon.
Oh, nice. Now, how
And
long does it take you? Like, what? Walk me through the process.
okay, so October, I went up to Canada. There's a place up there called Japino's. We buy the
Japan,
Japino.
they also sell a lot of other things, correct?
Well, they used to. They closed the store.
Because
Um,
okay.
they closed the store last year, and they just do the wine now, the
Yeah,
juice.
because I think they used to sell a lot of espresso.
Oh,
Uh,
they sold. It was a little grocery store, a tiny little Canadian grocery
yeah,
store.
that's why I never been, but my family went there every
Great,
year
great
to
store.
pick up all
Great
kinds
store.
of all sort of things.
Yeah. So in October we go up. We get the juice. We bring it back to the states.
Now, did
Uh,
the border give you trouble with that?
Not in the least. Not at all. This past year we pulled up to the guy at the customs. He says, "How many buckets do you have?" I said, 22. Okay, have a good day. Yeah, because so many people go up there.
Yeah,
So, so in October we put it in the demijohns.
yeah.
We let it ferment for 2-3 weeks, and then we rack it. We put it in a clean demijohn, and then you let it sit for 3 or 4 months, and then you rack it again into a clean one. Let it sit for another couple months. Like right now, I got to rack it for the third time, and I'll check to see the sugar. If all the sugar is gone, if I'm down to zero, it's right around that 12.5 to 13.5% alcohol, and then it's good. And then you stabilize it, and then after, when you're ready, you bottle it. Once you stabilize it, it's not going to do anything.
I gotta tell you, once you're young, when you're young, you don't think about these things.
No,
You know, I don't want to make wine.
I
I
don't
don't
want to
want to
make
make
wine.
sauce.
Wine's only $8 a bottle. Well, you know what? I make a bottle for $1.50 right now.
Right. No, no, but it's not even about the money. You
Yeah,
know, it's about like growing up. You know, I especially a lot of my father's friends,
yeah.
my parents' friends, they made everything homemade.
Oh
We're
yeah,
talking salami, sausages, capicolo,
yeah,
wine, sauce, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, man, what now as I'm getting older, I'm thinking, you know what, this is great, you know.
yeah.
So I'm starting to watch all kinds of cooking shows. You know, I did at the
Yep.
restaurant, so I didn't know. I have a background on it, but I always look for like new recipes. Oh, or how
Always,
you make wine? How can you
always
make
looking for
this?
new
How do
recipes.
you? And I gotta tell you, I'm trying to get in more and more into that set of mind. I think it's fun, and
Yeah,
and I think it's a good thing to do with your family.
yeah. So when I met my wife, I never did any of this before. I met her, and her father was making wine. I said, I want to learn how to do that.
Yeah,
So, every year now, him and I make wine. He does 45 gallons at his house. I got 25 at my house. Nice. You know, we make the sausage, they hang it to dry, and then you put it in. My mother in law takes the links once they're dry, puts it in a bottle with olive oil and seals it up. And then when you want one, you take it out, you dry it off, and you slice it. Nice. It's good. I got 2 jars of that sitting in the back room right now. We do prosciutto. We used to do prosciutto.
I
You
love
know,
prosciutto.
we used to get the whole leg and then pack it in the salt, nice for 2 weeks. Lay it on a plastic, and then 2 weeks, you brush off as much salt as you can, and then you pack it in black pepper and put a copper wire through the knee joint of the leg, and you hang it in a temperature controlled room for 7, 8, 10 months, 12 months. Then you start slicing it, you know. And my father-in-law's house, it's very high tech, old school Italian. He's got a PVC pipe that comes in through the wall from outside. If it's too warm in there, he puts a rag in the pipe. If it's too cold, he takes a rag out of the pipe. That's it. That's all he does. It's perfect though.
It's funny is that for some reason your name keeps coming up in my life. The
It's gonna
actual
happen.
name. I was just like the other day, I was watching what The Irishman, one of the bosses,
Yeah,
Joe
yeah,
Bruno,
yeah. I
right?
know.
The day after, I was looking at was it like a senator,
Yeah, Senator Joe Bruno. Yeah,
right?
he
It's
was
like
always
what the
one of.
hell?
Quick funny story about him. When
Go
me and
ahead.
Donna got married, I put her car registration in my name, and I never. No, I put the car insurance in my name. You know, And my father-in-law got a letter saying, "Hey, you have an uninsured car in your name. The registration was still in his name.
Yeah,
So we're going to pull your license."
yeah,
He calls me, "Joe, you got to call somebody. My license, I need them. So I called motor vehicles. I called my lawyer. My lawyer said, "Call motor vehicles in Albany and tell them what happened." So I call up and she says, "This is Beverly." I said, "Hi, Beverly. This is Joe Bruno." And she goes, "Hi, Senator." I said, "Excuse me." She says, "That's our senator's name, Joe Bruno." I said, "Well, it's me, and I got a couple of things I need taken care of." She said, "Yeah, nice try, pal." So, what are you going to do?
sure. Yeah. And this is where how did the story end? You got arrested for impersonating a
I
senator?
did not get arrested. I was not the Joe Bruno that got indicted that year. It was the him.
Sure, 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 sure.
Right, right. There's Joe Brunos all over the place.
It is. I mean, it's a popular Italian last name, you
Oh,
know.
sure, sure.
Now,
Yeah,
in your comedy, did your Italian background have a big part of it?
some of it. Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit. Growing up in an Italian house, I mean, it's everything's different in an Italian household.
right.
everyone's sitting at table screaming at everybody like you just killed someone. They're yelling at you, but that's just, it's not yelling. It's just how we talk, you know?
Yeah, go tell the neighbors that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's
You know.
funny. Yeah. It's, and you would, if somebody comes in, like one of the boys had a friend that came over and he thought everybody was pissed at dinner.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, that's just how we talk. That's just, you know,
Yeah, we're
you,
pretty loud people.
yeah, you can be getting screamed at over stuff that's got nothing to do with you at all. And then,
So,
and then they'll take you to lunch. You know, it's just how it is.
but Joe, listen, thank you so much for being on today with me. It was my pleasure having you, and it's always a pleasure seeing you actually around town
That's
because
me.
we always run into each other, maybe a coffee shop and
Restaurant, it
or
doesn't
a
matter.
Chinese restaurant.
Chinese restaurants, because I love that.
I gotta tell you, obviously Italian food is my favorite, but I love Japanese. That's my
Yeah.
weakness.
Yeah. A big fan. There's a couple of places. Have you been to Sakura Home on Monroe Ave? Now it's
I've
Red
not.
Sun. It's one of the hibachi grill type of places. I love that.
Yeah.
There's for people like, wow, it's a little expensive. It's $18 a dish. But you're going home with food. You're not eating it all there. You're getting
Yeah.
2-3 meals out of that. I love it.
So I have to check it out. But once again, I'd like to thank you for being on.
Thank you.
I appreciate your time. I know we didn't start on time. We had some technical issues with your computer.
I don't know.
Yeah, Joe has a computer from 1947. Was the first
48.
model.
Is a 1948.
1948. So we
That's
had a little hard time getting in. But
don't
I'm sure I'll get you. You'll be back on the show again, and hopefully we'll get to work together soon.
very good, sir. You have a great day.
Thank you very much for watching, and if you have the chance, subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Tony Napoli channel, and Tony Napoli Comedy on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Thank you very much, and I'll see you tomorrow. I got comedian Tam Daddario on. Thank you.
I'll see
Bye-bye.
you. Ciao.
Ciao.